recently I just did my top 10 favorite 80s horror films. If you haven't seen that, definitely check it out. That list was kind of hard to come up with because there's so many great 80s horror films out there. But today I thought I'd tackle my top 10 favorite 70s horror films, which was a little bit easier to do. I do have some films here that I'm going to mention that didn't quite make my top 10. Because the films in my top 10 are just, they're just all-out classics, and they're films that I just love so much. But I'm going to mention these. Hills Have Eyes, the original, didn't make my list. Even though I prefer the remake, the original is still, you know, it's still pretty good. Black Christmas, of course, a lot of people would probably have that in their top 10. There just wasn't room for mine. That would probably be like number 11 for me, Black Christmas. The original Piranha, no one ever talks about. Suspiria. You have Salem's Lot. You have Legend of Hell House. You have even Young Frankenstein. There's so many underrated 70s horror films out there that probably no one even knows about or even talks about. So, yeah, there's a lot. But my top 10 for me is satisfying and just some of my favorites. So let's get started with my top 10 favorite 70s horror films. Starting with number 10 here, Brian De Palma film starring Sissy Spacek and John Travolta. And what's funny, this is not even the first Sissy Spacek film that I've seen. Carrie. The first Sissy Spacek film I ever saw was Coal Miner's Daughter with Tommy Lee Jones and Sissy Spacek, which is the story of Loretta Lynn. My parents showed me that when I was younger, and, you know, I actually liked that film, but I didn't see this until way after that. So, I was familiar with Sissy Spacek. And when I saw her in this, I'm like, wow. I'm like, she is very different, and I feel sorry, you know, for her character. And even the psycho mother, played by Piper Laurie. Oh my God. She's crazy. She talks about religion, and like they're all going to laugh at you, and she gets bullied at school. You know, she has her period. The third act, when, you know, she just gets the pig blood dumped on her, and then she just goes into this trance like this and starts killing people. Crazy. I mean, it's one of the most memorable moments in horror history, okay? Yeah, it's unforgettable, really. I mean, I saw this, yeah, I was still young when I saw this, but, you know, this wasn't the very first Sissy Spacek film I ever saw, so. But really, really good. Carrie. That comes in at number 10 for me. Coming in at number 9 is a Wes Craven film, also Sean Cunningham from, did Friday the 13th, produced it. And this is I want to say this is a disturbing film. It's weird. The characters are weird, but it has a charm to it that it's kind of a work of art in a way. And it is The Last House on the Left. You know, the music choices for this film were not the greatest. When Krug and his gang were doing their thing out in the woods, and they played this like really artsy fartsy kind of music. I can't really explain it, but the music just didn't add up. Or it didn't line up with the situations. But it is disturbing seeing these girls go through what they had to go through. Like, you know, they had to get naked, and they had to, you know, they got raped and killed and shot, and, you know, the parents let these guys in their house, and then it's crazy, some of the stuff they do. You know, when I first saw this, even the remake does a good job with it too. But the visual style of this movie is just really, really good. So, Last House on the Left, very disturbing film. That comes in at number 9. Coming in at number 8, definitely a classic, Richard Donner film. Gregory Peck, Lee Remick. You also got David Warner and Billy Whitelaw. Music by Jerry Goldsmith, one of my favorite composers, and it is The Omen. They also remade this film, and the remake did not do Damien Thorne justice. Okay, Damien Thorne was way better in this movie, or they portrayed him way better. This kid, this evil kid. What can I say about this that hasn't already been said? The Omen. The only thing I haven't seen the sequels as much. I might have to revisit the sequels, but the original is definitely the best, in my opinion, from what I know. But yeah, The Omen. That comes in at number 8. Coming in at number 7 is a film that I've talked about a lot. But it's very unique, very original. It's got a lot of weird things, but they do a good job with it. But you got Angus Grimm, Bill Thornbury, Michael Baldwin, Reggie Bannister, Kathy Lester, Phantasm. Boy, you know, the tall man walking around in the mausoleum, throwing these metal balls everywhere, lifting up coffins, throwing them in a hearse all by himself. Doesn't even need any help. He just picks up the coffin and shoves it in the back. You got this room with a bunch of barrels and stuff, and you got 2 posts. You go through the posts, and it leads you to another world where there's these dwarves, these cloaked figures. Weird, but awesome. The tall man, Angus Grimm, you know, rest in peace. God, he was so good. So good, man. He was scary. He had a presence to him. That's number 7. Number 6 is... This movie is supposed to be the scariest movie ever made, or scariest movie of all time. I kind of disagree with that, but it has left its mark in horror history. I'll say that. The Exorcist. William Peter Blatty. Here's the thing about this movie. William Friedkin, he directed this, but he made it one of the scariest demon-possessed films of all time. I will say that. Because there's been a lot of possession movies since this film. Where some demon possesses a girl, they do the, you know, thing, you know, that kind of thing. This movie didn't really do any of that. It had the levitation, you know, Reagan levitating off the bed, turning her head all the way around, you know, masturbating with a cross, coming down the stairs backwards, you know, peeing herself, throwing up. That's not even the disturbing part of this movie. The part that disturbed me the most about this movie is the part where they hook her up to machines, takes her blood, and the blood squirts out, and these loud-ass machines are around her. And I felt so sorry for her. I'm like, really? I'm like, I hope technology gets better, because that's bullshit. I mean, all these loud machines, she's sitting there, they're trying to figure out what's going on with her. That part disturbed me more. This is definitely a classic one, though. My dad is afraid of this movie. He talks about it all the time. This is probably the scariest movie to him. If I had to say, it is one of the creepiest. I'd say it's one of the creepiest. For me, it's definitely not the creepiest. But it's definitely up there. So, but it is one of my favorites. That's number 6, okay? Number 5. You have a Ridley Scott film, which also Jerry Goldsmith did the music for this. Dan O'Bannon did the story, and Dan O'Bannon, of course, directed The Return of the Living Dead, one of my favorite one of my favorite zombie films with Star Wars in it. One of my favorite zombie films of all time. But you have Sigourney Weaver, Tom Skerritt, Harry Dean Stanton, John Hurt. Boy, I feel bad for John Hurt in this film. Alien. Now, when it comes to Alien franchise, this is my favorite. This is a horror film, a sci-fi horror film. Aliens is much different. Aliens is more action-oriented. And Aliens had a bunch of aliens in it. This has one alien. And the scene that I will always remember, the scene that bothered me is when John Hurt, they're at the table and John Hurt, you know, the alien busts out of his chest. I mean, it's such a, like, the scene just takes forever, and like it's very detailed when it comes out of his chest and it's sitting there moving around and like, yeah, I'll never forget that. It's crazy. This movie's very different from the other ones, but it's my favorite. So I had to mention Alien. All right, number 4. What can I say about this movie that hasn't already been said? John Carpenter. You got Donald Pleasance, Jamie Lee Curtis, PJ Soles, Nancy Loomis. Halloween. This would probably be much higher on people's lists, but the ones that I'm going to mention, you know, are this just, I mean, at least this made it to number 4. But Halloween, classic slasher film. You know, Michael Myers, The Shape, stalking the babysitters and killing them one by one with the white mask. I mean, it's just classic. Halloween. Number 3. This movie made me scared to go into the ocean. Ever since I was little, I saw this. I saw an ocean. I'm like, nope, never in my life am I going in there. Directed by Steven Spielberg, based on a novel by Peter Benchley. Jaws. Lorraine Gary, Richard Dreyfuss, Robert Shaw, Roy Scheider. This movie made me afraid of sharks to where if I even see a real shark, even if it's small, I get scared. That's what this movie did to me. I can't go into the ocean. I can't go into water, even if it's in a lake, and not know what's under me. If I cannot see my feet, I will not go. If I can't see what's swimming underneath me, I will not go. Because it might be this. But that's what this movie does to, I mean, the beginning. When the girl goes out, I mean, she was stupid anyway. She goes out in the dark, goes swimming. The guy's drunk, he's on the beach, he's like, you know, he's trying to, she goes out there and she gets, of course she gets dragged under by a shark. And the cool thing is you don't get to see the shark in the beginning, but you know it's there. And because she can't see nothing, it's dark. But it's like pulling her, dragging her around. You know, the scene where the boy's on the raft, this little boy, and he gets taken down. And then, of course, the ending with Quint, when he gets bitten, he goes in the shark's mouth and it bites down on him. He's like, ah! So many, God, this movie, so, the creepy story that Quint tells. I almost wanted to smack him. If I was on that boat, I'd be like, shut up! We're out in the middle of the ocean and it's dark. Like, there's a shark out there. Stop saying stuff about a shark that killed all these men. He'd been bitten half below the waist. This movie's crazy. And it scarred me for life. So, number 3, Jaws. Number 2 is my favorite zombie film of all time, George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead. I love the characters in this movie. I love the zombies, the way they look in this movie. I love the whole mall setting. It's always been a dream of mine to go into a mall and do whatever I want. Go into a mall, close all the doors, and go into each store, try on clothes, play video games, eat at a restaurant. I'd do whatever I want. But during a zombie apocalypse, they go into this mall and try to survive. Like I said, they lock off all the doors. They have a plan. These characters, they live upstairs and they get to go down in the stores whenever they want to. Then there's this motorcycle gang that breaks in, and then all hell breaks loose. But the effects are so good in this movie. So good. George A. Romero, I thought he outdid himself in Night of the Living Dead. But he really did it here. I mean, he went full throttle right here. Dawn of the Dead is my number 2 favorite of the 1970s horror films. My number 1, you could probably guess this, number 1 favorite horror movie of the 1970s, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This is a masterpiece. I'm sorry. I think The Shining is a masterpiece. I think this is a masterpiece in the 70s. This movie did not have to rely on blood and gore because there's hardly any in this movie. What this movie does right is making you use your imagination on what's going on. And it's more disturbing with weird characters, weird situations, guerrilla style filmmaking in a way. I mean, it's very, very grim and you know, the way it's shot and everything is just it's so good. All the screams and stuff that Marilyn Burns does as Sally at the end when she's trying to get away. You really feel for her character. You really want to see her get away. Leatherface chasing her, and then, you know, at the end, what Leatherface swinging around his chainsaw like he's pissed off because she gets in that truck and like he's trying to go after her, and just, God, this movie's so good. It is so good. Gunnar Hansen as Leatherface, amazing. The guy doesn't even talk. He just makes him crazy. This movie, 10 out of 10 for me. My favorite movie of the 1970s. My favorite horror film of 1970s. So there you go. Quick recap. Number 10, Carrie. Number 9, Last House on the Left. 8, The Omen. 7, Phantasm. 6, The Exorcist. 5, Alien. 4, Halloween. 3, Jaws. 2, Dawn of the Dead. 1, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching this. Tell me what you think in the comments, some of these titles that I mentioned, and what do you think of my top 10. Definitely make a video response if you want to on your top 10 favorite 70s horror flicks, or list them in the comments.